B2G Sports was an idea that came to me from Henry Bell that was kind of wild at the time. I mean, I remember being in my last year of college trying to finish it up, and I'm trying to think about, what job I'm going to work, and here Henry comes with the idea to start our own business, and it just wasn't something that young black recent college graduates were doing. And it took a minute to wrap my brain around it, and once I did, it made complete sense because we were just finishing up college football and probably had the most knowledge available as to what these kids needed that were going into college. So, the motivation was, hey, let's teach these kids what we wish we would have known, when we first got to college.
In 1999, B2G came to existence. What we ended up doing was taking the basketball concept that you see in high school basketball camps. ABCD basketball camps at the time was one of the bigger camps going on, and there was nothing like that for football. So what we ended up doing was taking that same concept of invitation only, just for the top 100 kids, and giving them an opportunity to experience college football. The concept was pretty unique at the time. There was nobody doing anything remotely close to that in the high school football world. So for us to step out there and say, hey, we're going to invite just the top 100 kids during a time that only 400 or 500 kid camps were going on, camps for the masses were going on, it had some pullback, which was understandable because it was unique. But we was able to get through that, created a great concept that not only gave kids, incredible opportunities to learn on a high level from, former college pro athletes, but also be able to experience what it's going to be like their first year of college football. So over the last 15 years, we've been tremendously successful in helping these kids transition from high school stars to college and pro athletes.
I struggled when I first got to UCLA. One, because I didn't understand the business side of it. I was still kind of in the mindset of, hey, everybody gets a fair shot. Didn't really understand how politics worked. There was a lot of off-the-field distractions. Westwood was a fun place to be. I didn't realize that, partying and girls and the things that we did in our free time, can have a negative impact on your reputation and how, the public perceives you. They're all things that I think young high school athletes, don't really understand. We just felt we had a lot of skills, both on and off the field, to teach to elite athletes, and that's exactly what we put together, was a weekend designed to simulate the first week of college ball, so guys knew going into it, what to look for.
For me, the passion lies behind seeing kids take that huge step from high school to college sports. When I was in college, I struggled. There was a lot of things I didn't know about because, one, my parents wasn't aware of it. Two, I wasn't aware of it. And I bumped my head my freshman year, really all the way through college, because there's things that just happens on a college campus that you're just not aware of, especially when you have coaches who, during the recruiting process, woo you and try to date you and don't really give you the insights of what it's going to take to play on that level.
When Henry brought me the idea of starting an elite football camp just for the elite guys, my thought process was, this is great. Nobody's focusing on teaching the elite kids. There was a lot of discovery camps, a lot of camps for the masses where, if you were trying to get noticed, there were, a plethora of events to go to, college camps, even the private camps. But the elite kids, they needed somebody to teach them what we wish we would have known. So, it was very important to me. I felt that, my, football career was over and I wasn't going on to the league, but that was a way to help, still be attached to football, but basically it was a rewarding thing, I thought, to be able to create my own program that was going to help kids get to the next level. The growth of B2G was something that was not as planned. It was kind of disheartening the first year that we sent out for 65 kids and we only got 12. But like most people that start a business, they'll tell you that you got to start somewhere, and Very rarely is that first go around exactly the way you plan it. Thankfully, we had a lot of perseverance and vision and foresight to stick, with it, and we found some positives out of that first camp. For example, the impact that we had on these kids was very apparent. There's a lot of people that work very thankless jobs, and when you do things with kids, you have not only the kid but their parent, to tell you the truth about whether or not it was effective. So it was very rewarding to talk to the parents, from that group of 12 and have them, share with us how valuable the experience was for them, how different it was, and how nobody was really, teaching the things that we were, we thought was second nature for us. So that was, an indicator that we had something special that we needed to expand on and touch more kids with. Football is really just a language that we're using to teach young boys how to be men, teaching kids how to grow up and be successful in any aspect of their life. The same principles that are used to be successful in the game of football helps you win in any area, and that's something that has been the language that makes sense. For a lot of the kids that we work with, it's hard to understand why they should, focus on building a resume. It's hard for them to understand why they should be, getting an internship, or even know what industry they want to be in. So for a lot of them, you have to use a language that makes sense to them, to teach them core principles, values, and success tools to help them go on and really win at whatever industry they end up being a part of.
It's important for these student athletes to know what it takes to compete, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to compete whether you're in sports or you just in life in general. Like, you have to compete. You have to be able to know how to present yourself. You have to be able to know how to adjust on the fly. And that's what sports teaches you, and that's what we teach here at B2G.